I am Lizzi LaDue, and I am allergic to gluten, dairy, and eggs. And this is a huge problem, especially during the holidays. I'm going to show you how to make my gluten, dairy, and egg-free Christmas cookie recipe, or really any kind of rolled cookie recipe. You could use it for any holiday. It works and it's amazing. So the first thing I'm going to start with is some gluten-free flour, and I like this brand, which is Bob's Red Mill, and it's good for baking. So I have 3 1/4, actually 3 1/2 cups of flour in this bowl. Then I'm going to add, let's see, what is this? This is 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and this is 1 teaspoon of salt. And this here is the secret ingredient, which is so great. It's vegan egg, and it's a powder. And so this recipe calls for 3 eggs, and so I did 3 tablespoons of vegan egg. And I'm going to add this to the dry ingredients. Normally we add the eggs to the wet mixture to cream with butter and sugar, but we're going to not follow the directions on the package. We're going to follow my directions, and I'm going to whisk that together into the dry mixture to just get it really evenly blended. However, you're probably wondering how we're going to replace the wet that you normally get from the egg yolk and the egg white, and we're going to use a 1/4 cup of coconut milk, which you can kind of get any brand really. And this is the other great ingredient, which is Earth Balance. It's like a vegan butter substitute. So 2 sticks make 1 cup, and I've already put that into my mixer. Now we're going to kind of follow the same procedure, only we have our actual egg binding agent in with the dry ingredients. And I have this is 3 cups of sugar, so we're going to add that to the already room temperature softened butter, and we're going to start mixing that up and get that nice and creamy. We're going to add a teaspoon of vanilla, and we're going to add the wet ingredient, which is the coconut milk. And you might want to play with that. If your dough seems a little bit dry, then you can, add a little more coconut milk if you need it. Oops. So, I've already whisked together the flour, and once this gets nice and creamy, we'll speed it up a little. So we'll add the flour little by little. And you don't want to overmix it for sure. But I can see this is a little drier on the drier side, so I'm just going to add a little smidge more of the coconut milk. And we're done. And your dough is you don't want to overmix it. Your dough is going to seem a little sticky, but that's okay, because once you refrigerate it, it'll be great to work with. And that's basically what it should look like. And you want to form it into a nice tight ball and wrap it in saran wrap and store it in the fridge for a few hours until you're ready to roll it out. And then you just roll it in pieces. So as you can see, I have my dough rolled up into a nice ball wrapped in cellophane, and I'm going to pop it in the fridge for at least 4 hours, or you can even just do it overnight. You can also just pop it in the freezer, wrap it a few times in cellophane, keep it really airtight, and you can save it for months until you want to take it out, thaw it out, and roll it out. Chilled my dough overnight. It's a little hard. I took it out of the refrigerator about 20 minutes ago. You want to get it a little softened up because it is like butter. I mean, there's a butter-like consistency, vegan butter in it, and that makes it hard. And you just got to get it kind of at the right temperature. You're going to be working with a little bit of dough at a time, so you'll want to break a chunk off and form it into a nice ball. This is Perfect, it's a little crumbly, but that's okay. As you can see, I did not take a shower today. I tied my hair up because I'm about to make a huge mess in my kitchen and I'm gonna need a shower afterwards. You wanna take a bunch of gluten-free flour. I just stuck my hand in the bag because I'm messy like that. But you could use a scooper, which I actually did get ahead of time. I'm gonna be doing 2 kinds of cookies today. The first one I'm gonna be showing you how to roll and decorate before it goes in the oven, which by the way, I've already set to 350 to preheat, is a cinnamon and sugar cookie, which is really easy. And not an easy dough to work with, but once you get the hang of it, the key to these cookies being delicious is to make the dough as thin and even as possible. And it takes a lot of patience, but it's really worth it. You just gotta keep kind of flouring it. Of course, you wanna use the same gluten-free flour that you were using. And I do like this Bob's Red Mill flour. There's another flour that I really like. It's called Cup for Cup, and it's also gluten-free. However, there is milk in it, which I did not realize until I used it and had some problems with my digestion, as you can imagine. But it actually does work, and if you don't have a dairy allergy, it's fabulous. I personally like to use simple patterns that don't have a lot of sharp, long edges where cookies can easily break off. And I'm just gonna use the star today because honestly, people don't care anymore, and my kids aren't little anymore. So you basically are gonna just kind of roll the dough as thin as possible. And I like to just kind of cut my shapes out, get as many as I can. This is a great tool. You don't want a spatula like this for these cookies, a thicker kind of plastic spatula. You want a thin, like a pie plate, and this is so old you can see I have burn marks in it, but it's just my favorite. So if you can find a thin metal spatula that you can easily pick up the cookie and set it on the cookie tray, it makes for a really nice finish. And essentially what I'm gonna do here, I'll just put a few cookies on. Usually I would fill up the tray, and then I take a pastry brush, and with this pastry brush, normally I would use an egg yolk or even an egg white to garnish, to wet the surface to make a pretty picture. But this is just coconut milk. And I'll essentially just kind of spread the coconut milk across the cookie. And these really don't spread out too much, so you could actually put them a little closer together. And I really like this little McCormick already. It's sugar and cinnamon, so you can just kind of sprinkle it right on the cookie, which is so nice because you're not going to make a huge mess. You're going to pop it in the oven, and you want to let them just get a tiny bit like they're turning golden brown, but not too dark or they'll be too hard. And you do want to get the cookie off the sheet as soon as it bakes. It's going to bake for probably about 8 to 10 minutes. Just keep an eye on it. It depends on your stove. And you're going to want to put them on a wire cooler rack. And you're also going to want to take the cookies off with this thin, you can scrape them right off. If you don't get them right off of the cookie sheet, they will stick and they'll break. So get them off, put them on the cooling rack, and you're good to go. Next, I'm going to show you how to do a lemon cookie, which I could have actually done in the dough mix, but I didn't think of it in time. However, I'm going to turn it into a lemon cookie, which is so yummy, and you'll see that in a second. Now I have a new fresh batch of rolled out and cut out stars cookies. And what I've done ahead of time is I've zested a lemon. So basically, you want to just grate the lemon peel, wash it, and then grate it. And then I juiced 4 lemons. Well, no, excuse me, 2 lemons cut in half. That was 4. And I put it in a little saucepan And with the lemon juice, I put a cup of sugar and half of the lemon zest. And I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to basically, I've set it down, I cooked it until it boiled, and then I turned it off and just let it sit until it kind of gets into like a wet liquid. And I'm going to just brush it across. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to sprinkle a little clear sugar across that. These are just crystals clear. And you can even put a little bit more fresh lemon zest on it, and that will be a delicious lemon cookie. You could have put the lemon juice and the lemon zest in, and maybe even a little lemon flavor, like instead of vanilla extract, you can use a little bit of lemon extract with the lemon zest in the dough, and that makes it really great. But this is also a really nice garnish, and it's just something different. Some people don't like cinnamon, and I know everybody likes lemon, so it's a pretty decoration, and you'll really be a big winner when you serve these guys. Okay, I'm also going to show you, watch another video I'm going to do in the future. I'm going to do this amazing lemon bundt cake. Oh my gosh, people just die for it. It's so good. Oh, and the other thing you could do too in the dough ahead of time, if you wanted to do just the lemon cookies, you could add a half a teaspoon of turmeric, and that would give it a beautiful lemon coloring of the dough, like a yellow coloring, without using food dye and all of that. And you won't taste the turmeric because it's so small. My first batch has come out of the oven, and as you can kind of see up close, there's just slightly a little bit of browning on the edges of the cookie. And again, I'm using very thin. You can see how thin this is. And you want to gently take them off so you don't have any breakage, and get them on the cooling rack. And they do get nice and crispy, like almost a cookie cracker, but you do want to let them cool. And they store a long time too. So, as you can see, I have some beautiful cookies, and I better try one just to be sure it's not poison. It's so warm. Oh my gosh, it's so yummy. It's really good. Not too sweet. You can also just bake them without, it's warm, without any garnish, and let them cool, and then use royal icing. And they're so fun to decorate once they've cooled off. You can do a lot of colors and just, Martha Stewart your heart's desire. The cinnamon cookies, they're crispy, but when you eat the lemon cookies, oh my gosh, because you put the syrup, the lemon sugar syrup on them before they baked, the outside of the cookie is crispy, and the inside is chewy and lemony. And I swear to God, you guys, oh, there's my dog. I swear to God, you do not need a man if you have these cookies. You don't. Oh, here comes the mailman. That's the only man I need in my life. Oh, I love being single. Oh, perfect timing. Would you like to come in and try some cookies? I just made some. Come on in. Cowboy, knock it off. Here.
Oh boy, look at that.
Baggie. Oh my gosh.
These
are lemon, and these are cinnamon. So can I give you a few of each?
Yes, please.
Okay. Put these in here. The thin ones are really yummy. These are dry. Oh, I have a little Christmas party to go to this week. Here you go.
Thank you very much.
What's your first name?
Kevin.
Kevin Elizabeth. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah, they're actually gluten, dairy, and egg free. So if you have any food allergies, they're even better.
That's perfect.
Yeah, they're really good. So.
Boy, I'll tell you what. I have my daughter-in-law and her little girl have to be dairy and gluten free and all that kind of stuff,
Oh, well, feel free to share some with them.
Well, they live in Encinitas.
Oh, then too late.
Yeah.
Too bad. They're all for you.
Betty just went there today for 4 days. So, anyways, I'll have to eat these all by myself.
No, I'm sorry. Alrighty, have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure. Hey, knock it off. Your friends and family will not notice the difference Don't tell anybody they're gluten, dairy, and egg-free. Just tell them, here is a cookie. It's delicious. Eat it. And they don't even have to know. But for the people who do have to watch what they eat, it's such a blessing. It's such a gift. It's such a nice thing to do to give someone, especially someone who has a child with autism, who are usually on a gluten-restricted diet, or anybody that's suffering from any sort of arthritic or digestive pain. This is absolutely the way to go. If you want to have a treat that's safe and delicious and a fun activity for kids also who want to decorate, you'll really enjoy it. And I hope you enjoy it, and I'm so glad I got to share it with you. Have a great holiday. Bye, guys.
It's cold outside.
Oh, I gotta go away.
Baby, it's cold outside.
This evening.